Welcome to the comfy zone. Make yourself at home.
I can't believe I even have to write this, but here I am. I'm hoping to get some advice, so if anyone has any recommendations, I'm all ears. I'm not posting this from my main account for obvious reasons. I think I messed up spectacularly, and other than the others involved in the situation, nobody else knows about this yet. I just got back home from a long weekend of camping with friends, and the one thing I didn't want to do was check my phone while I was there. So when I checked it today, I saw that I had an email waiting for me from our IT department at work. The subject line said something along the lines of, "Forward, confirm your password change." I assumed they were just trying to be proactive and make sure we weren't using passwords like password or 12345678. So I ignored them until after work. When I did come into the office, I opened up my email on my computer instead of checking it on my phone, since I knew I would be able to see more text that way. That's how I found out about what happened this morning. It started around 7 a.m. when someone sent an email to the whole company that said something along the lines of, "Hey, you might want to change your passwords." We've been getting these emails almost every Monday lately, because apparently they're just sending the same message over and over again to all the different departments. But this time, instead of clicking the link in the email, I did a quick internet search and found out it was a phishing attack. It wasn't their actual email address, but one very similar. Not even close, actually. They were asking us to update our passwords by logging into a website that looked exactly like our own internal email system, except with a slightly different layout. They also included a fake security certificate to make it look legit, which was probably why we hadn't noticed anything wrong with the messages before now. I could tell right away that it was fake, though. My IT department is pretty good at keeping things secure, so I would have known if someone had hacked into our servers. I reported it to them as soon as I realized what had happened, and they took care of it within an hour. But obviously, some people were already affected. There were over 100 false emails sent out to employees in the first 10 minutes. Some of those emails contained malicious files, which meant the hackers were able to take control of some people's computers remotely, without them even realizing it. I don't know how many were affected, but the company hasn't released any official numbers yet. I'm just glad that I went with my gut and didn't click the link. Anyway, this is where I messed up. I told my boss that I thought the email was suspicious, and he asked me to forward him the email. He wanted to contact our IT department and make sure that everything was okay. I never imagined that he would do something like forwarding the email to everyone else, but that's exactly what he did. I guess he thought it was just another phishing attempt and that no harm would come of it. Well, I was wrong. Within an hour of forwarding this email to my boss, I started getting frantic emails and texts from just about all of my contacts at work. People were mad, and not just a little bit. My thought was that there was no way a phishing email deserved that much backlash. After all, I wasn't the one that forwarded it to everyone. Here's the problem. It wasn't a phishing email. When I finally got a call from my closest work friend, Paul, he was as upset as everyone else and asked me why I'd send something like that out. I still didn't understand why he was being so serious about something IT could probably deal with, until he told me what he saw in the email. He told me that when he opened the email, the first thing he saw was a picture of his wife, Christina, who works with us. She was alone in her office, and it was dark outside. His eyes immediately went to the timestamp of the email. It was 12:01 a.m. Now, Paul doesn't use his work computer for personal stuff, and he always logs off of his email when he leaves for the day. Because of that, there was no way someone could access his personal photos from just his work computer. He was freaked out that someone took a picture of Christina while she was working alone in the office. That wasn't the end of it, though. Since she works with us, Christina also got the email, but with a photo of Paul in the background. At first, Paul thought it was a prank, but he couldn't figure out why anyone would be doing that to him. This was enough for me to check in with some of the others who were frantically emailing and texting me. Each time, I heard the same thing. No two people seemed to have gotten the same photo, but they had all been sent pictures of various people from the office when they were alone and didn't know someone was watching them. A few people got photos of themselves, and some of our colleagues received pictures of other people, usually people that they worked closely with. Everyone was freaking out, but no one knew what to do. For some reason, the hackers weren't just taking photos of employees. In some of the photos, they said there was a creepy person standing behind them, or in front of them, silently watching them. The last thing you want is to think that someone is stalking you, especially when you can't see them. I couldn't believe people were getting these photos, and no one knew what to do about it. I tried to get through to my boss, but he wouldn't answer his phone. I called him several times, but he ignored the calls. Finally, I left him a voicemail asking him to please return my call, and that I thought it was important, but he never returned the call. What I didn't understand at the time was why everyone was so mad at me. Sure, I forwarded the email, but I didn't send it to everyone. I only sent it to my boss. I should have been able to trust him to handle this. He was the one who asked me to forward it, and I assumed he would be smart enough not to do anything stupid. He's a big guy, and he's really good at his job. I figured he'd do the right thing, and if there was any danger, he would let me know. Instead, he forwarded the email to everyone else, and then he went home early. Fast forward to this afternoon, and I still hadn't heard from my boss, so I figured I would send him a text so he didn't need to call me back. He was really mad when he finally responded, asking me what the hell is wrong with me, that he trusted me, and that there would be consequences. I mean, come on. It was just a phishing email, and he was the one who asked me to forward it to him. That's when I realized why he was so upset. He stopped replying, other than sending a single photo of himself at his desk. He must have been really upset that I had a friend take a picture of us together. I wasn't even fully in the picture, because the office door was blocking me. I've always wanted us to take a picture together, considering I take pictures with all my friends. At this point, I realized why everyone must have been so mad at me, since my boss was so bent out of shape over it. Sometimes, I just have to seize the opportunity. I mean, candid photos really are the best way to capture a moment. Maybe some people just don't like their picture being taken. So, with all that said, was I in the wrong